So I effed up somehow and turned off freaking OBS for some reason. Off. Okay, fair enough. By the way, the tavern, it ran fine. I just cleaned up some stuff.
Ah, there you are.
Thank you for a bottle. I'd like to collect my parent tavern. What the son is doing today. Appreciate the engagement, kid. You already done your work for today. Good. I'd like to collect my pay. 20 cheers for hard work. Got a few coins from her pouch. Good. For a friend. I handle half the coins. Good. Fair enough. I have to leave. Good. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Did I actually get some coins? Because I don't see it. 21. I think I got like 1 or 2 coins. What the freak? Well, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I did my work. So there's that. I assume this will be fine. Now going to the dead man's thing. Thingy bob. Now doing this. Okay. Advance to nighttime. Yes, please. Thank you. Oh, that's weary. Oh, yeah, that's weary. I love it. What can I? Oh, firewood. Yes, please. Please take it. Take it. Take it. Thank you. Thank you. Can I get more? Okay, good, 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 good. No, I'm running. No, this was somewhere different, wasn't it? Ah, there it is. Purple, bloom, purple, nightshade. Took the nightshade, strength purple of those nightshades, and followed them. Good. Did I get it? I'm not sure. Did I get it? Yes, nightshade. Gonna take 2. And a purple bloom. No, the purple bloom is gone for some reason. Well, I guess that's fine then. Why not? Wait, combat. Oh, 2 ghouls. Ugh, that's bad. Oh, that's why this. Okay. Can I freaking just run? Action points, magic points. They're just not. I'm gonna equip the. Oh no! Do I have to really do this every time? This is annoying. Okay, let's end the turn. Wait, he lost some HP for some reason. Ah! Well. Okay, fair enough. This was easy. Yeah, let's go a step back. Just so the ghoul has to make some extra steps. One. 2. Yeah, come on. Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough. Okay. I guess ghouls just spawn like that. I heard there is shriek from the steps of the cemetery. I could see something moving in the shadows there and looking like it would have to fight or try to back to the Westman's Gate. Bugger. I think you have 5 action points, don't you? Melee DPS AP2, so it will be 1, 2. Let's just go forward. Oh, you have more action points. No, that's fine, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's also fine. I hope so. What? Huh? What the fuck happened there? Suddenly the fuck... Okay. He went full berserk for some reason. Fair enough, I guess.
Hello there.
What the fuck was that? This was bullshit. Suddenly he just wanted me. What the fuck was that? The star went right on it. So, okay, fair enough. Here. Nitrate. Nitrate. Let's just go out. By the way, a lot of people are shriek. Well, welcome. Okay, bugger. Here. Come on. Yeah, I don't care about this. Just go in. End it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If you could just automatically equip this shit, it would be nice. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I can't do anything else. Fair enough. Yeah, wait, I still haven't... I had an action point. Damn. Okay, fair enough. Put away my weapon. Good. Fair enough. At least this thing goes out. This is bullshit. Good. I have my nitrate. Now I can actually just equip this. Then go here. How am I committing a crime? What the fuck is wrong with you? Wearing a mask is suspicious. Of course it is. Let's just go this way. I am Good, so I need grease. It's done. Mask, lavendel, nitrate. Good. Damn, this is annoying. The nitrate in the bowl was sticking? What? Do I need a ladle? A ladle? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Come on, don't annoy me. Oh, there it is. Okay. Damn, this is annoying. Damn, this annoys me. Okay. Can be used as a weapon with a tropher attack many. Okay. What the fuck? I need to follow the instructions in the book to brew some to help my mother sleep. The recipe involving boiling nightshade flowers and grease. Must also infuse a cloth with lavender to wear it as a face mask to protect myself from boiling the flower. Okay. Nitrogen. Place a pot of grease on a stove and add nightshade flowers. Heat gently and set a how pound into a lime egg and so on. Okay. The deadly nightshade found in wooden as a place of death is named for. Okay, so I think it's the thing I need. At least I hope so. I'm not sure about it though. So be it, I guess. I think I done it. I hope so. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, because there was nothing else. I have a pot full of grease. I put the nightshade in. I startled it. Ball of grease. Then what the fuck? Can be used with a weak torpor effect. Attack mainly drugs mortal targets. Okay, so I have to slap my mother with that? What the fuck is wrong with this game? Okay. This doesn't work. Did I do something wrong? I mean, I made this thing, wanked it up, is this the thing I need? What the fuck is... Let's also infuse a cloth with lavender to wear this as a face mask to promise when boiling the clothes. What the? Oh. Oh, I forgot a bottle. Didn't I? I forgot to put a bottle in it. Or to put... Can I actually? Wait, can I just do this now? Stove? Interact? Put this in? And put this in. No, this doesn't do anything. Poof. Come on. Oh, show me the freaking inventory. Don't be an a-hole about that. Like this, like this, like this. Stove. Yeah, I don't care about that. Oh, this is so annoying. No. Maybe this? Ah, good. Yeah, fill the bottle, of course. Now it makes sense, good. But those extra steps are annoying. They need some tools for more things, because this... Damn, this is just not working right now. Good. I hope I can directly infuse her. The thing is, this is freaking poison I'm giving her. What the fuck is this about? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm saving and then. Just like this, going to sleep. Do I have to? I do wish to advance time. Yeah, bed. Good. Does the mother ever walk around here somewhere? No, he's not here. Of course he's not. Ah, there he... No,
Can I help you, my lord?
Yes, please. I need to block the fumes lest they knock me out. Very good, sir. I might suggest moving before somebody sees questions. What are you...
Can I help you, my lord?
I have made the trooper and decided that it should give it to mother and let her rest. I have made the trooper. My father get this book, mother. Okay. Okay, good. With the respect, Smiling, we shouldn't test it first. This is your first time making it, and we don't know if it's safe. You're right, of course, but how do we test it? I should take some. Would you take some? I go out and find an animal to try it on. You know what? A doctor has to, well, try it himself. Are you sure? Advice. Coffee made it to the recipe. I take it in my room, perhaps. Check on me a few hours. As you wish. Okay, let's see. Maybe I'm gonna kill myself instantly, but hey, who knows? Could take it in my room. Just to punish myself, this would be the best place to do it. Direct upon hobby that I would not injure the process. I had started swinging almost immediately, so I made my way towards my bed.
think I... Yes, I can see something.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I see them too.
What? Who are you? Who's there? Show yourself. Is there somebody here? Who are you?
We three have gathered on this cold and dark morn, where the veil between worlds is thin, to call you here.
Ask them who it is. Ask if it's my cousin.
Announce yourself. Fuck it. Be honest. SmilingLich Fantas, you are in my home. You are in my family home. You are my fat. You are in my home. Yeah, you are in my home. F it. My father's dead. I'm the freaking owner now. Fair enough.
Interesting. I found no records of any Von Elstrick living here.
How long have you been dwelling in this place?
Yeah, long enough. I've been here for my whole life. I am recently returned. Yeah, recently returned.
What has you trapped here in this place?
I am not trapped. I choose to stay. I want justice, revenge. I want to see the person who took my father's life. I am not trapped. Revenge. I want justice. Justice sounds better than revenge. It is the same thing, basically, but hey, it is what it is. Does it exact to you? Some of those will pay. Does it bring you satisfaction? If there is no satisfaction in revenge? Does it need to? Yes, perhaps in his death. Does it need to? You're not satisfied, then fed out. The other disappoint them. Good. Continue. Decrease to O. I feel weak in a way I had never experienced before and sick to my stomach, and yet I felt that my mind had been over to another reality. So taking the potion was the correct way. Nice. Still, yes, I knew the potion worked, though I hoped the dream was not a common side effect. I had to find Albert to tell him my news. Good. This actually worked. Didn't expect it, or I should have expected it, but hey, it is what it is. 1 mana, and I don't know for what I'm gonna actually use that because I have no effing spells. But I guess if the time comes, I'm gonna have enough. And I would freaking drink.
Can I help
win.
you, my lord?
You still have that mask on. Oh, so I do. Abrash, are you okay? What happened? I don't know, I had been outside. I saw your mother in the garden. I came out there, hear a glass of water, and saw some figures searching the place. Then I heard movement behind me, felt sudden pain, and the darkness. The place has clearly been ransacked. In the meantime, I'm sorry I don't know more last time. It's okay, I have the potion for mother. I tasted it and it works. Let's get her to sleep, and then we can assess this mess. Of course. Fair enough. Okay, that's good. But ransacking of our house is concerning. Come, let's look at the mess the thieves behind. Completely. Oh, not a lot of people did complete chapter 3, did they? That's bad. That's bad. I know, master. Your father was. Oh no. Okay, this stayed. Fair enough. Sacred book. This would take age to record. I don't care about this blue things because. Got the books inspection books. Okay, it's fine there. Did something from the desk disappear? Did something from the dwarf disappear? Look, I need. No, I don't need. Really, every single time I need to put this freaking key in. That's annoying. That's really annoying. But okay, it's fine.
Can I help you, my lord?
Also... Good. Just because I drag a mask around this... Your father was much enemies unknown. Good, fair enough. So this was ransacked. Ran to mother's room. Where were they? Looking for that secret jewelry. Okay. It doesn't look like I can interact with anything. The toilet. Thank the gods, the toilet got spared. Good, he's been referred to. Belongings, perhaps master your father's recipe book, something, and that could be. Then protecting the house. Yeah, the stone is emitting some poisonous fumes. I hope the ransackers actually run into it. Okay. Yeah, so I assume the ransackers were some freaks that actually went in, ransacked the place for the book that I drag with me, the Necromancer's book. Oh wait, I can talk to the cat. This is a cat. Okay, fair enough. Ransacked, yeah, the armor dinner table was okay. No, they didn't ransack the rest of the house, did they? Well, it doesn't look like it. No, it was just the library. Fair enough, I guess. Okay, fair enough. Do you have any idea what this break-in was about? I know not, master. Father was much respected and the manners with the enemies. Perhaps, master, your father's recipe book has something to do with it. Could be turned to protecting the house. I couldn't be sure, but the marking on the grave mist page looked similar to those found in the strange rustic book I had just picked up from my father's office floor. Okay. What did I open the tome as if by magic I found myself staring at the page titled Grave Mist. Though I had not recalled seeing it before. It was writing in a few script and I could only describe a few enough to know it was a form of gas trap. Perfect. Seems to protect my home from further invasions. I need to find a way to describe the rest of the pages so I could prepare the ritual. Good, some goat sacrificing wouldn't be the worst thing, now would it? Good, I could be sure, but the marking on the grave mist page looked similar to those found in the strange rustic book I had just picked up. Okay. Grave mist. And Urus A8. Okay, I have to look it up again. Somehow find out or go to the library, probably to the library again. Okay, let's see, maybe it's in the quest thing. Should check it with Garnet at the tavern. No, together with Abrish, I should see what clues lies about the house regarding the ransacking. So I missed a few clues. Fair enough. Just gonna go out. No, I just opened the book and he was like, let's look this one up. This would take a record. No, this is the same thing he... okay. Wait. Oh, so I can skip the entire thing. Oh, good. Great. Okay. So I should at some point the venue description about okay, so he just repeats the same thing. You know what? I'm done for the day playing. I think I'm just gonna react to a video and then just shut the stream down. I already actually effed it up for the first time. After that, I'm just gonna look up what this is all about, and I still can't summon Undead. But hey, it is what it is. Wanted to actually do part 3 of the pirate software thing with hacking claims and stories from Slop News. This I think legend. Because yes, Slop News, this legend actually does a lot of good things. Love him. He actually did pretty good with his last videos. And I am very, very happy that he got a lot of attention for them. So let's see what he has to say about it.
A bit of a note before we continue, most of Jason's hacking claims are mainly stories, with him being the only source of truth for a lot of them. So for most of this video, I'll just be explaining and teaching about the terms used and how these things generally go, instead of making judgments like the previous 2 parts. Well, maybe a few minor judgments. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's start going through it. Let's start by bringing up the old VX Underground tweet that Jason responded to, and recheck his YouTube short on his experience while he was at Blizzard.
I was one of the guys sitting there pulling down every bot that worked for every MMO that we worked on, everything at Blizzard, grabbed every single one of those, pulled it out into assembly, grabbed the code key from it, removed the polymorphic, found a way to fit it into Warden.
Okay, so from this clip, we got a lot of stuff to go over and cover. First, Jason worked on anti-cheat at Blizzard, and he dealt with bots. Plus, he did reverse engineering on the bots too, based on his comments. He also worked with Warden, which was Blizzard's anti-cheating tool that was directly integrated into games like World of Warcraft. The way Warden worked was, while you were playing the game, Warden would be run.
Well, let's just say it like this. These days, the anti-cheating tool, with the amount of bots running around in the game, seemingly didn't do a lot. So, yeah. Now I know why Pirate Software worked on it.
And using native API function calls from your system to collect data on your computer. This would include things such as what programs you had open while playing the game. It would hash the data it collected and periodically would send it up to Blizzard servers, where they would try to determine if you were running any known cheating programs on your system while playing the game. It also has some malware detection built into it too, apparently. It could detect stuff like keyloggers and warn you if your system had been affected. It probably has a lot more functionality and abilities, but we'll need real Blizzard employees to talk about those details. Back to the short comments. Jason also pulled down tons of bots, pulled them all out into assembly, grabbed their code cave, remove the polymorphic, and then fit all this back into Warden somehow. Now, the issue with this clip is, while all these terms make sense on their own kind of, together this ends up sounding like weird nonsense he made up. This is why the VX Underground Twitter account is calling Jason out in the tweet. Also, for anyone that doesn't know what VX Underground is, it's a site that possibly holds the world's largest public collection of malware source code, samples, and papers. This is an incredibly popular site that many real hackers and security researchers use to find, study, and explore viruses. Plus the...
Oh, I always ask myself that, or I always ask myself where people actually get the entire information of hacking, the programs, what the day-to-day is, what they are doing and such. Where do they get the information out? Well, now I know. Nice.
The people running the Twitter account of VX Underground are almost all going to be people within the field that actually really know their stuff. Now, let's go and explore what the code cave term means from the wiki link Jason has posted as a response. If we look at the opening line on the wiki link, it basically says it refers to a section of unused bytes inside a process memory. So what this means is when we have a program active, we want to check and see if there's basically an empty continuous block of memory within it. If we manage to find an empty section, we can directly modify it with the debugger and add some new instructions to the program's execution. The advantages for this approach are the modifications are quick and easy to include, and you just need the application itself to check for this. None of the original source code is required. The downsides are, in many cases, this will result in a modified executable, which can cause the program to crash or malfunction depending on what was done. And the biggest issue, the amount of empty space you'll have to work with is going to be incredibly limited, meaning how much ad hoc stuff you can add here is going to be extremely small. Normally, you'd never use CodeCave to try and do a complex hack or add program behavior inside it. If you were searching and trying to use a CodeCave, you'd use the CodeCave area to try and find a way to call a separate DLL file where you'd have your actual hack or bot code logic located. located in for this context, and the code cave would just act as the entry point for this DLL injection. Also, let me explain what a dynamic link library or DLL file is too.
Wow. Same thing as last video. I love this guy. Like, he explains the entire thing very good. But for F's sake, he's very quick. I have to focus honestly like a... Let's just continue. This is... I still love the guy.
Just like how you have an executable that's filled with compiled code that your system can run directly, DLL files also include compiled code. The major difference is DLLs are a separate file and they can be used by multiple other applications. For example, the code to create a window on the Windows operating system exists in a DLL file and other programs use it. Another big thing is, like the name implies with dynamic, the code inside a DLL can change, and the main program the next time it uses DLL will run that new code. Back to the code cave. I was also curious where the term code cave is normally used, since this is a pretty unusual and not often used hacking term. From what I found, it seems to be incredibly popular within the cheat engine user base circles. For those that don't know what cheat engine is, it's a program that allows you to view an active game's memory and modify the memory values directly. So let's say you were playing a single player offline game and you open...
So basically you can do what a lot of cheaters do, zap around, shoot through walls, do this kind of stuff. It's honestly, I'm not a hacker. If it comes to the information what the cheat engine is, of course, know your enemy. But the thing is, it is still intricate how the entire thing works. It's quite interesting. I personally wouldn't use it, but hey.
Opened up cheat engine, you could do some simple stuff like find your character's health memory value or level and set them to the max. You could also try doing the code cave stuff by finding that area of unused memory and try to create a custom hack there. The hack would be fairly limited and simple due to size constraints though. Think something like a god mode toggle. Now, while cheat engine can help you screw around with single player offline games, it's not exactly a good tool to use with MMOs like World of Warcraft. The reason is, with offline games, all the logic, updates, and variables are only on your system. This is what we call client side. So if something is modified with cheat engine, there shouldn't be any big problems, since there's nothing else that needs to verify these values and data besides the game itself on your system. With MMOs and online games, on the other hand, this ends up in general being a very different story. MMOs have both a client side and a server side component to them. What this means is, while the client side can be the game executable, which will be responsible while it's running to handle stuff like drawing and rendering the game itself, the server will be where the actual logic and values are being executed, read, and set to a database. Meaning, if you make changes on your side in this case, then when those values are sent up to the server to update and save, they'll more than likely have lots of checks in place to prevent getting bogus values and to stop cheating. This is very basic.
I mean, this sounds very, very, well, hard to do. Not hard to do. It sounds like it's unsafe, but if this was the case, why the F do we have so many bots and cheaters around? Especially in big MMOs like World of Warcraft or other things, it just doesn't make sense to me, because if this was this unsafe, nobody would use it. That's at least how I see it.
When dealing with online requests. Pretty much all servers are built with the idea of never trusting anything a client sends to it, meaning all the values that are made up with cheat engine and sent should be checked and verified again on the server before proceeding within a well-built server application. So let's say someone tried to go from level 1 to level 99 in World of Warcraft. When the level up event happens and the data is sent to the server will more than likely do something like the following. It will read the current database value that has your level, then it will check your level or the XP amount you currently have and the projected amount you've sent. Then it will probably have some safety and anti-cheating checks. For example, something like if you're leveling up multiple times in one sent data packet to the server, that's a pretty clear sign you're cheating and it could flag you and have you banned at this point. Another example, if you tried sending an insanely high EXP amount that should be impossible to get through legitimate means playing the game, the server might realize you're cheating and ban you, or they might have a safety check and cap the EXP value to something more normal and sane for the game. Regardless of what is actually happening within the server logic and what they have in place, the cheat engine approach wouldn't really work in most cases, since the
So basically you have to trick the entire thing, somehow trick it to say, okay, I didn't get this in a batch or in a very small amount of time or something like that. I got it periodically. It can happen, but you just have to trick the server. That's all.
Modified values aren't being used and saved directly
Easier
on your
said than
system,
done,
but on the
though.
Blizzard servers, which, as I just explained, will have its own numerous ways of checking and determining if these cheat value changes are actually valid or not. So, if Cheat Engine isn't a good option for online games and MMOs, how do people cheat, make hacks, and bots for them then? Well, we're in luck. We don't have to guess or speculate, since at DEF CON itself, many famous WoW hackers are there as speakers and actually nicely explain all this stuff for us. Notably, a few good talks to check out are DEF CON 19, Hacking MMORPGs for Fun and Profit, DEF CON 15, Virtual World Real Hacking, and DEF CON 17, Subverting World of Warcraft. Also, a quick fun fact as part of the DEF CON 19 talk, Michael Donnelly is a co-guest speaker. For anyone who doesn't know who that is, he's the creator and owner of MDY Industries, and by extension the creator of Glider, one of the most famous and successful WoW bots. He was raking in around 4 million at his peak, and then he got sued by Blizzard and was made to pay 6 million in damages. Anyways, back to the type of hacks, bots, and methods used for WoW. We have a
And by the way, I personally think good that they did it. I personally think they should crush down even harder on people who actually use bots and use cheats. To such a high degree where you just would say, it's not worth it, what the F are you doing? That's how I see it. So I don't care that he got caught and punished severely. It's just, yeah. And it's not because I am somehow morally superior or I think that it's bad. It just makes my fun. It kills my fun. And it also kills the communities behind it. So I don't give an F. If somebody thinks that he can cheat him or bot themselves somewhere up, yeah. Let them pay 6 million. Fair enough. I don't care. Good.
few major types to go over. First, we have the GUI-based macro systems. These are some of the easiest type of bots to make. Basically, you'll have a completely separate program viewing the WoW game window and looking at the various parts of the game screen. Depending on what pixel color your program sees at different spots, different actions will be performed by sending the keystrokes mimicking player behavior to your WoW client. So, for example, if you were grinding, you might have the bot casting an area effect spell every few seconds, and when your health and mana bars change color, the bot will know to use your potions to keep the character alive to continue making grinding possible. Another popular type of bot design is done through DLL injection. This was a hacking method I mentioned during the code cave explanation. This is another super convenient method and has few benefits. Since it's running with the game itself, it can have access to data structures and other important info from the game directly, allowing these type of bots to be a lot smarter and more sophisticated than the GUI macro ones. Next, we have the debugger based ones. These are less detectable than the other types technically, since with these you'd attach debugger and use breakpoints and remote process memory to control things within the game. Based on most of the talks and stories, this wasn't something that was really done or used, more so a method that existed that some experimented with. Also, a quick aside, back to Jason's grab the code cave comment, this debugger method is technically the closest to his code cave definition, but with the rest of his comments and description, this still doesn't sound quite right in his context. I'll explain more about this at the end. Anyways, back to the bot types. Then we have the client replacement types. These ones are huge amounts of work and generally aren't the first bot type anyone will make. Generally for this type, you already have a successful bot going and you know how much you can auto farm, sell, and by extension profit off of. So now you'd make a client replacement to maximize the amount of bots you can run on your computers or servers so you'd be able to maximize your profits. This was an incredibly popular approach in China since there was a much larger WoW gold buying and selling economy there, whereas outside of China there was a larger bot buying economy, roughly speaking. For more trivial hacks and simpler bots, there's also the option of using custom written Lua scripts. WoW includes Lua as their scripting language of choice and exposes various API options to customize certain things about the game, UI being one example. A side effect of having Lua included is a lot of function names will be in plain text and easier to search for, meaning you can try to hijack or use them for hacks purposes. With those bot explanations out of the way, I think it's largely safe to assume the type of bots Jason was dealing with at Blizzard were most likely the DLL injection type since he was pulling them out into assembly. Plus, the DLL approach was the most common method used by the bot makers during this time period, and we have some confirmation from the DEF CON talks for this too. Now, let's go back to Jason's polymorphic code phrase. If we look back at his tweet, we have a big problem here. Jason says polymorphism can be described as polymorphic code. The problem is these are two completely separate concepts and terms. Polymorphism is a programming term, and polymorphic code is a virus term. Let's start with the polymorphism explanation first. Let's say we're back in C++ land again, and we have a class called animal, and it has a function called talk. Now let's say we create two other animal classes based on the initial animal class. Let's say we have a dog class with a talk function that says woof, and a cat class with a talk function that says meow. Now, let's say we have a list of cats and dogs. What we can do, since both classes are based on an animal, we can grow through them generically and call talk on each animal type of object in the list. Since each one will have their own unique talk function, the behavior of the program will change depending if the dog is saying woof or the cat is saying meow. Now, one thing to note, polymorphism will change the behavior a function has within the context of the code. It won't change the assembly structure of a program, since both talk functions will be compiled into assembly and be within the executable itself. Now, there is also such a thing as polymorphic code, or more specifically polymorphic viruses. Basically, some malware can change its own code by using a mutation engine to mutate itself. Basically, each copy of the virus will have its own unique key to decrypt its code payload in slightly different ways to make detection harder. For example,
Ooh. Okay. Now I understand how it always goes through like that. That easy. That's interesting. Damn. Truly something. I mean, there has to be a way of countering it, but it doesn't sound easy, to be honest. If you have, like, automate these things this easy, you can automate these things this easily and this often to, yeah, that's hard.
For example, let's use basic math examples to show what I mean. Let's say we want to get the number 4 by using two numbers. We basically have infinite options. We can do 3 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 6 minus 2, 14 minus 10. All of these will result in 4, even if the expressions are different. The end result will be the same. This is basically what's happening with the polymorphic viruses. It's doing the same operations, but with slightly different semantics to make it harder to detect. Now, you might be asking, if the virus is still doing the same thing, why doesn't anti-cheat or antivirus manage to detect it? So I'll give a quick rundown of some simple methods antiviruses and anti-cheat use to detect threats. Most antivirus and anti-cheat tools will check for a few quick and basic things, like the ID or name of an application. Another way these tools will detect malware is they have a huge database worth of assembly and script blocks that are commonly used in malware. So when they're checking over a program and they detect a matching block of code to their database blocks, they can be pretty sure the program is malware. Okay, with all those explanations out of the way, let's go through Jason Short again piece by piece now.
I was one of the guys sitting there pulling down every bot that worked for every MMO that we worked on, everything at Blizzard, grabbed every single one of those, pulled it out into assembly.
Alright, so we managed to get his hands on the bot programs and I was doing reverse engineering and trying to debug them directly in assembly. This makes sense so far, with the most likely bot types being the DLL injection ones again.
Grabbed the code cave from it.
And we have a problem. The code cave being used inside the bot would not matter at all. A code cave's purpose is to inject or call other code inside the program. The bot makers don't need to hack their own bot program to run code. This doesn't make any sense at all. The code caves would exist inside the Blizzard game files, not inside the bots. Also, you wouldn't be grabbing a code cave from anything. If you have a debugger open and checking a program in memory, you're already in the area and tooling to look for the code cave. Again, you'd be looking for a small area of unused memory. There's nothing here to grab. He's using the term even in his own statement and context incorrectly. And even if you applied it to the correct contents of the Blizzard game files, it still wouldn't make any sense. So let's drop this and go to the next bit.
This is why I love this guy. The details, just these details, as a normal human being or undead, you just wouldn't see that. You would never hear this out. And it sounds smart. It does. But only sounds smart for people that actually don't know stuff. Or don't know the specific thing. And I'm not blaming anyone for this. Because everybody always says, yeah, we have the internet, you have access to every information in the world. Yeah, fair enough. And you know what? The human brain can't even soak in every single information that is in the world. That means you still have to just pick your stuff that you know. And that just isn't more. It would be, of course, smart to learn decoding and having read 5,000-page books about it and just learn it. But the brain just isn't made for that. You just won't have the knowledge for that. And there are other things that are way more important for survival than knowing what the things that Thor says actually mean.
Remove the polymorphic.
Okay, let's be charitable and say these bots were all made similar to polymorphic viruses. They weren't, but whatever. If you're studying the bot, you'd probably find the obfuscation and check to see how it's decrypted. You wouldn't be removing the polymorphic in this case. If you were ripping out the assembly instructions from the program, you're basically just left with a copy of the bot program, empty and useless. There's really no situation where you as the researcher and anti-cheat guy would be required to do this. So in all contexts, this doesn't make any sense either. Let's go back and finish up the clip now.
Found a way to fit it into Warden.
Okay, now how would you fit this into an anti-cheat tool like Warden? Since it works similar to an antivirus, you'd probably want to copy the common code block patterns you see in the bot into Warden. You'd also want to add other simple detection methods to Warden, like the name of the program or signatures related to it. You wouldn't need to remove the polymorphic, you just copied over parts of it and saved the instructions into the Warden database. So in the future, you could try and detect some users of this specific bot. If we're being charitable, we could say Jason misspoke multiple times in a row in that sentence, and he wanted to say something like the following. We got our hands on a lot of bot programs, and most of them them were of the DLL injection type, with the injection method used being exploiting the Blizzard game files directly. The bot makers were smart and added polymorphic payloads to make detection difficult, but we managed to find unique enough patterns to add to Warden to make detection of this bot type possible. Do I think he knew this is what he was trying to say? Well, I think it's pretty clear if you watched my previous videos where I explain how poor his coding abilities are and understanding, or if you watched any of his multiple puzzle game streams where you see him cheating constantly.
The thing is, no. If at this point you actually give Pirate Software the benefit of the doubt, you're naive. Because yes, I am actually someone who always tries to give the human being that I am actually watching the benefit of the doubt or hearing an enemy side. But in this case, there are so many lies told, so many disputed things, so many things where he was just full of shit that no, I cannot give him the benefit of the doubt.
Think you won't be surprised when I say hell no. And I assume he had no clue what he was trying to say either. What I think is likely, he was just tossing around hacking terms he's probably heard thrown around by the actual devs working on Warden anti-cheat during his time at Blizzard. Moving on to another topic, let's leave the polymorphic and code cave stuff behind us fully, and let's move to another clip everyone has been asking me to review, his next hero hackerman story of defeating an evil rogue hacker using a stingray.
I turned in a guy to the FBI when I was at DEF CON 24, I think it was. He walked into the room at the lost room. That was the year that I had the key. And he walked into the room and he's like, I need to put this device plugged into the wall under there. And I was like, you ain't doing that, man. And he goes, lost set, I couldn't. I was like, all right, fine, go plug it in. And he plugged it in, put it under the couch. The moment he left the room, I unplugged it, pulled it apart. And it was, you ever heard of a stingray? So this guy tried to set one of these up in an environment with tens of thousands of people on a little thing about this big. In front of me. Yeah, it's great. Really smart.
Yeah,
he had done this in a number of locations. The other two devices that he had put out had actually been out and deployed, which was a security risk.
Jesus.
I took the device immediately, dumped all the information off of it. I actually looked at it. It had 4 screws on one side and 3 on the other side, so I knew which side was the access point that he was accessing because he had dropped a screw, which was thankful because things like this could be trapped. You know, there's all kinds of crazy that people can do. Opened it up on the other side, took out the SIM card that was in it, took out the memory card that was in that, popped the memory card into my machine to go look at the logs the guy had through it. And I was like, oh, this is really bad. Took all that, took it to the FBI contact, sat in a room for like 4 hours. They found the guy. He revealed where the other devices were. They arrested him. That was the end of it. And I think they gave me a challenge coin for that. I think I got an FBI challenge coin for that one.
So a Stingray was originally a specific device created by the Harris Corporation, which would intercept and eavesdrop on mobile phone traffic and location data. It was essentially a fake mobile tower, acting as an in-between the target mobile phone and the real service provider towers. This is what's considered a man-in-the-middle attack. These devices are in widespread use by law enforcement agencies across various countries, notably the USA, the UK, and Canada. These days, though, Stingray has become a generic name to describe these types of mobile phone intercept devices, and not just the original Harris unit. Now, there's a few holes in Jason's story surrounding this. First of all, he sounds unsure if he won an FBI challenge coin or not, which I think is a pretty big issue. My reason being is he constantly shows off his DEF CON badges and wins. Like going to his PotatoSec Twitter account, his pinned message is DEF CON badge wins. If we go to his main Pirate Software Twitter account, every time he gets criticized or questioned, he pulls out his DEF CON badges and wins. His LinkedIn also has all 3 badges included in his honors. His Reddit intro posts also have his DEF CON badge win. He shows them off multiple times on stream and posts about them multiple times per year. I'm not blaming or holding this against him. Feel free to be proud of the stuff you got. The issue I have is if he's willing to showcase his DEF CON badges and wins basically at a minimum of like 4 to 5 times per year, every single year, why has he never shown his FBI challenge coin? I even managed to find him showing off his Blizzard Battle.net coin, but nothing related to the FBI coin. Considering how much he loves to share his achievements in personal life, he would have shared or talked about the Stingray and the FBI challenge coin at some other point besides.
I mean, it's clear that he's just full of shade. Nobody that's this envy would not show something like a FBI challenge coin. And it's basically something where the FBI just says, yeah, good work, brother, you did it. And it's actually highly seen or a good thing to show off for somebody that actually did something like that, and it could probably bring you some, well, extras. And at the end of the day, somebody that's this envy, no, you would show it off. He would show it off at any occasion that he could. Purely out of his pure pride. Nothing else. Envy, pride, everything. Because nobody can be better than him, that's the envy part. And pride is just to show off his successes.
This is one podcast clip.
Success.
Next issue with the story is there's no other record or people to corroborate the story. I couldn't find any mentions of a widespread mobile attack at DEF CON during any of the years he was present there. Lost, the owner of the room Jason was staying at while this happened, doesn't seem to have posted anything about it either. No other attendees mentioned there being any other Stingray devices noticed either. It's hard to imagine a tech conference with more than thousands of people that are all largely tech literate and knowing to practice device safety, and no one besides Jason noticed someone trying to monitor their phones with the Stingray. It's just way too hard to believe. I'll cut this part short since beside the clip I couldn't find any other info tied to this. Given how often Jason lies and over-exaggerates different stories, I'm inclined to say he's lying on this one too, since nothing about it seems true and there's absolutely nothing I can find to even suggest it might have happened. Moving to the next topic, we'll return to his time at Eagle Research Group, or as he referred to it, his government hacking. Now, if we refer back to his LinkedIn, we can see he did the following: penetration testing, working with sensitive networks, and develop custom tools. Now, we have a few clips to check out. First one.
My general wheelhouse control is physical access control systems, so breaking and entering, Wi-Fi related vulnerabilities, web related vulnerabilities, and social engineering. So those were my primaries when we were on those tasks.
Okay, so he did physical access controls, Wi-Fi network checks, and social engineering. Okay, that's slightly different from what he wrote, but that's fine. Let's check the second clip.
So your government is, dude, honestly, working with the government sucks ass. They pay more than God when you're a federal contractor, but holy shit, is it not fun. You ever published a CV? No, not at all, man. Like most pen testing, this is the saddest, shittiest truth. If you are a pen tester or a federal contractor pen tester, you are running scanners and you're bored out of your freaking mind. Like it is not engaging at all. There's very few times you're like, I get to do something cool today. It's usually like, oh, cool. I'm wearing a suit. I run a shitty scanner. I put together a report. I go home. Yeah, it's 99% writing reports. It is literally 99% writing. Yeah, it's not fun. I wish it was cool.
Okay, running scans to test for vulnerabilities and then writing reports, again, sounds fine. The only problem I have is every single time I manage to find something about him explaining what kind of hacking he did, he changes his story and the things he was responsible for, but I digress. Anyways, let's talk about physical security hacking and testing for a tiny bit. Physical testing is actually pretty straightforward and direct. You're basically going to go around and check every fire exit or entrance or other possible entry point to see if any are open. Are there any points of entry that aren't guarded or locked? In fact, DEF CON has a couple of great talks on this exact topic. One of my favorite stories from these talks is how to defeat those glass office double doors you see at most modern office buildings, with the little keycard employee scanner next to it. Now, I'm sure most of you are thinking some advanced hacking techniques are needed, like figuring out how the keycard scanner works, then making a fake card with the right data on it, or something else that's like movie-esque. But nah, you want to know the real way you defeat those door security? You go and buy a cheap $1 spray air freshener or a perfume bottle, and you point it directly at the top of where those doors meet, and you spray a tiny bit. Some office and door combos have a sensor at the top in case of a fire or other type of emergency. So by spraying a thick spray near the sensor will trip up and assume there's a fire and lock itself, letting you open the doors normally without a card, and in many cases, no alarms will go off. So you'd be in the clear to walk in like nothing happened. For network testing, there's...
Yep. And I did this in a job of mine. Just to scare the shit out of my boss. It was out of pure fun. Simple as that. And it's really easy. You wouldn't even believe how many... well, highly technology safety thingy-bobs there are that are easily skipped, cracked, or just opened. And you don't need a lot of things for... I mean, of course, the thing is, you still need the knowledge to actually do it, to know how to do it, what to do, when to do it, you know, that shenanigans. But all in all, if you know it, it's really not that hard. And I didn't look it up on the internet, by the way, because if you look stuff like this up on a regular basis, well, you're gonna get a few eyes on you. So yeah.
There's too many tools to pick from, so I'll just give one quick and popular example, namely Nmap, which is a network scanner that can identify hosts, services, open ports on a network, devices, operating systems, and even some vulnerabilities directly. For social engineering, I already discussed this in part 1, but a quick refresher. It's basically pretending you're someone that's an authority or coworker, and you're trying to trick an actual employee with access and credentials to either give you direct access to something or account details which you could later on use yourself. You might also be tasked with sending out internal phishing emails to check to see if the employees at the company you're targeting have enough training and security sense sense not to fall for obvious traps. And like I mentioned in the last clip, you're not just tasked with doing hacks or scans. A huge part of hacking work is writing detailed reports describing exactly what issues exist and how they will be used to gain access so they can be fixed or addressed in some way. I can believe Jason did all these tasks. Nothing here requires any crazy training or hacking or coding ability. Though his stories about it keep changing, especially after the recent drama started coming out. After it came out, he kept reducing and toning down what he did. When giving answers on his stream, how much was exaggeration, how much was lying, and was actually true, I have no clue. I'm not super inclined to believe his words, but there's at least nothing wrong with any of these statements here. Alright, last topic we have is Jason's famous Mr. Robot claims.
I don't like Mr. Robot because they took some information that they should not have taken from a write-up that I did on some puzzles that I solved at DEF CON, and then they put them into an episode of the show, and I found out about it. And the only source for that knowledge was my write-up. Don't do that. You'll always be bad. Do you want to know what the solution for that was? Do you want to know what one of the solutions for that was? It was the Puzzle Master's personal cell phone number, to which he got thousands of calls. Maybe don't put things in your episode if you don't know what it is. Idiots. Alright, so the reason I don't like Mr. Robot. This right here is my write-up for the DEF CON 22 Badge Challenge. Went viral as hell inside of the hacking communities. And now let's go to Mr. Robot's Twitter. Understand that this was the only place in the world that this was listed. Mr. Robot reposted this right here. That's that same string.
Okay, first of all, Jason's write-up wasn't the only place they could have found the puzzle. Popular sites like Wire have it front and center in an article. DEF CON itself still has it available too, and lots of other teams posted about it too. So no, Jason didn't have the only write-up. There were multiple teams at DEF CON that solved the Badge Challenge, and they all had their own write-ups posted shortly thereafter. Here's a write-up from
Of course he lied, because why not? Why say the truth that you actually got in different teams? There are a lot of other people that actually went in and looked this up and actually tried to do it. No, you're the only one that even got in, and there was nothing else necessary, nobody else necessary. You are the chat under it. It's like the ego of this guy is so gigantic and all-consuming. It's just disgusting.
Elegant. And if we look just a tiny bit below, we can see he also included the pamphlet picture as well, plus the original number series, and the decrypted letters portion. So no, by no definition was Jason's write-up the only one, or even the most viral and popular one. I even went and checked on the Wayback Machine to see how many notes his Tumblr write-up had on August 17th, 2014. This is 5 days after the original publication date. We can see there's 27 notes, not exactly crazy viral or anything. I then went and checked September 13th, 2016. This is 1 day before the Mr. Robot tweet, and at this date he had 150 notes. Not exactly viral or huge reach even after more than 2 years of this post being up. Plus, he was posting and sharing his write-up on Twitter and Reddit multiple times during these 2 years. Now, if we check roughly 2 weeks after the Mr. Robot tweet, we can see on September 26, 2016, he has 162 notes, or roughly a 41% increase in notes after he piggybacked on the Mr. Robot tweet to drive traffic to his write-up. Next, let's look a bit closer at the original pamphlet code series. Since we know the puzzle creator is lost, we can cross out his signature at the end. We're left with a series of numbers ranging from 1 up to 25. What's that common thing we're all using to discuss all of this that's roughly 25 letters? I'm sure lots of you have probably guessed it's the English alphabet. We can do a simple number to letter conversion and we can get the following string. Now, let's look at that Mr. Robot tweet again. It's the same thing without the loss handle. This was truly impossible to figure out. My sarcasm aside, this is step 1 of the puzzle, and I mean that step 1 literally. This is part of what Jason is claiming is his unique, only in his write-up knowledge that Mr. Robot stole. He's claiming Mr. Robot stole the puzzle starting line from his write-up. I honestly can't tell if he's being serious with this, or if this is actually just like a decade-long social engineering experiment.
No. This is serious from him. He's an expert in manipulating people, and it's just how you do it. It's on point.
Plus a little trolling mixed in. Anyways, let's pull up Elegant's walkthrough for the puzzle and see what they did from here. After they converted the numbers to letters, they did a road 13 on it. Road 13 is a simple letter substitution cipher. Basically, the letters of A to M are moved 13 letters up, and the letters N to Z are moved 13 letters back. Then we get the following string. The parent pages will help you find your calling, but don't be duped. Cut down the woods, they be air dish. Lost. Okay, now there's a few clues in the string. Notably, parent pages at the start. If we search this up, we'd find the parent numbers Wikipedia page. Thankfully, we don't need to worry about any crazy math stuff, and we just need the function pfn results, which is the row of 3, 0, 2, 3, etc. Next, we need the second part of the string clue, the woods they be air dish. If we search up those words, we'd find the air dish woods numbers Wikipedia page. Again, we don't need to worry about the math behind this, we just need the first few air dish woods numbers, namely 16, 22, 34, 36, 46, and 56. The next part basically relies on a separate pamphlet that has additional numbers. Here's what the original DEF CON 1 looked like. Anyways, we just need to pull these numbers out that are vertical and horizontal. If we look at the number set, we can realize their hex values and we can convert them to ASCII characters to get the following string. The last step needed to solve this is part of the clue, cut down the woods, they be Airdish. So we'll remove those matches, which leaves us with 251, a secret exclamation mark, which was where the Mr. Robot DEF CON 22 Bad Challenge reference stops in the Mr. Robot episode. The elegant write-up continues for a fair bit more, but let's stop here since this was the end of the context we needed for the Mr. Robot claims. Seeing as we could solve the Mr. Robot tweet challenge using Elegant's write-up, it proves Jason write-up wasn't the only place that had this knowledge. Now, to some other important points, Mr. Robot has consultants with the Texa for the show. If we look at who's a consultant for the show, oh, Jeff Moss is a consultant for the show. For those of you who don't know who that is, he's known as Dark Tangent, and he's the founder of the DEF CON conference. So let me spell it out for everyone. The guy who founded DEF CON and knows what goes on at DEF CON is a consultant on Mr. Robot and decided to use a puzzle from DEF CON, his own conference, on the show. Anyways, another issue, Jason blamed Mr. Robot for sharing Lost's phone number. First of all, this phone number isn't Lost's actual personal phone number. Lost is the main puzzle creator for DEF CON since like 2022 and an actual hacker plus security engineer. There's no way as part of a simple puzzle he'd be releasing his own personal phone number as the place to call to get a clue for additional steps. Second, Lost was happy and honored that Mr. Robot included his puzzle as part of the show. And if we check Lost's Instagram, we can even see he joined Mr. Robot at some point as an additional creative consultant. So clearly there's no bad blood between Mr. Robot, Lost, and the other DEF CON adjacent people. The entire beef and issues were Jason's own made up story. With that, let's wrap this part up. There's probably a lot more hacking stories I didn't find or touch on from Jason, but given how basically none of his stories stand up to scrutiny, it likely doesn't matter too much. Something else to note, ever since the second big wave of drama started, Jason has also gone and started changing his stories and toning down his claims. In fact, in one stream just a few days ago, straight from the horse's mouth, we have this.
What kind of dev work did you do at Blizzard? I didn't do any dev work at Blizzard. I've never said that I did. The internet has done some weird shit where they said like, oh, he said he's a dev for 20 years at Blizzard.
Seeing as how now he admits to never being a dev and never did dev work at Blizzard, I wonder how long we need to wait for this new confession saying he was never a hacker and we were all lying and putting words in his mouth. Truly insane behavior.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, it's more or less how you would expect it to be. Well, the Force Saga will be continuing, and I am happy that Slop News Network will go on and expose him to a degree. But as it is, acolytes, good night.